Is that keeping up your promise of no politicization, no retribution?
It is, because that's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 250,000 people. Over 3,000 firearms seized, 350 gang cases, 3,000 cases against violent
Well,
criminals.
that's not my question. We know that you...
Well, you asked if I was weaponizing the FBI, and I am not. I'm giving you the hard, concrete examples of the men and women putting handcuffs on bad people, doing harm to our children and innocent Americans. I do not see weaponization.
You have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation.
The debate over the FBI's future has shifted from financial oversight to a crisis of public trust. In a stark display of the partisan divide over federal law enforcement, Senator Patty Murray and Kash Patel clashed over the purpose and alleged weaponization of the agency. Murray defended the FBI's multi-billion-dollar budget as a vital shield against complex global and domestic threats, while Patel condemned it as a bloated war chest for a politically compromised institution. Their confrontation highlighted a high-stakes proxy war over a single question: does the modern FBI serve to protect the American public or to police it with a partisan agenda?
Director Patel, when should we expect this FY25 spend plan for the FBI? Have you seen it? Have you reviewed it? When will we get it?
I'll get you an answer, ma'am. I don't have a timeline on that.
It was due last week by law.
I understand.
And your answer is you just understand. You're not going to follow the law?
My answer is that I am following the law, and I'm working with my interagency partners to do this and get you the budget that you are required to have.
And you have no timeline?
No.
Well, we also need a full budget request, not a single paragraph full of wild talking points that we saw with the skinny budget proposal. We're now having a budget hearing without a budget request. So, Director Patel, where is the FY 2026 budget request for the FBI?
It's being worked on, ma'am.
Have you reviewed it? Have you approved it?
Not yet.
When will we get it?
As soon as I can get it from my interagency partners and get it approved.
6 months from now?
I don't know, ma'am. I'm not going to make
Well,
up a
how do
timeline.
we as Congress do our budget and our work without that request and without the spend plan?
Well, ma'am, I'm here. I'm
don't
doing the
care.
best I can. I can't make up answers. I'm going to commit to you to work on getting you the information you need.
Well, that is insufficient and deeply disturbing. No response?
I've given my response.
Well, the FBI is already down 1,900 employees since 2023 as a direct result of the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And under the Trump administration, FBI agents, analysts, linguists, cyber experts, and scientists are being asked to do a lot more in order to keep us safe. Director Patel, we all know that budget cuts will reduce the FBI's ability to counter threats of terrorism, and it will hinder its ability to keep pace with firearm background checks and shutter operations that combat violent crime, drugs, gangs, and transnational organized crime. Now, I understand that you told our House colleagues yesterday that you don't want to reduce the FBI workforce, meaning that you disagree with what President Trump is proposing?
No, I agree that we can sustain the mission with the proposed budget, and I agree with the budget. And as I said yesterday, I believe that what I said was I can do more with more. And I gave examples of what more we could do if we were given more.
Well, it's different than what you told the House yesterday. So what are you communicating to the President and the White House about what you need? And again, we don't have a budget request from you, so I'm not sure what you're asking us for.
I'm not asking you for anything at this time.
You can operate without a budget?
I never said that.
Well, this is unprecedented. Okay, well, let me just go to another topic since you're not going to answer that. The FBI partners with state, local, and tribal law enforcement organizations. They provide critical intelligence and operational capabilities to combat violent crime and gangs and terrorist threats, fentanyl trafficking, challenges that our local communities really can't face alone. I'm going to give you an example. A few years ago, the Southeast Washington Safe Streets FBI Task Force worked with our Benton County and Franklin County Sheriff's Office, multiple Tri-Cities police departments, and the State Corrections Department to carry out one of the largest ever drug seizures in the region's history. Now we've got an administration already cutting more than $800 million in assistance in 2025 to local law enforcement organizations while proposing a $500 million cut for the FBI. Director Patel, can you explain to this committee how cutting resources for our local law enforcement partner agencies the FBI relies on to help your bureau keep safe? How do you expect the FBI and local law enforcement to do more without those significant resources they need?
The FBI will continue to do what it does, which is work with embedded state and local law enforcement officers in our Joint Terrorism Task Force, in our Safe Streets Task Force, in our gang task forces. Those are a priority. Those billets have been maintained. Those billets have not been reduced. And with my reorientation, reprogramming that we've notified Congress to, you will see an augmentation in the field in every single state in this country.
Well, again, we need to see the numbers and we need to see that budget from you. Let me ask you about the NICS system. The FBI is really on the front lines of keeping guns out of the hands of very dangerous criminals. The NICS serves a really critical role in enhancing national security and public safety by conducting background checks. You know this. They are supported by the vast majority of American people, and I wanted to ask you this morning, will you commit to continuing to fund and run the FBI background check system?
Yes.
Thank you. I want to ask one final question here, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk again about how the FBI is focusing its resources. President Trump has turned the Department of Justice into a tool to go after his perceived enemies, and many of the actions we have now seen at the FBI are alarming. The FBI has reassigned and pushed out career FBI agents for political reasons. We have seen fear and intimidation promoted throughout the Bureau, including by polygraphing your own staff. We've seen the arrest of a sitting judge in Wisconsin, and during your confirmation hearing, you committed that there would be no politicization, no retribution at the FBI under your leadership. You've reportedly placed FBI employees responsible for investigation January 6 cases on leave. Is that keeping up your promise of no politicization, no retribution?
It is, because that's wildly inaccurate. Let me tell you what the FBI has done since I got there. 8,276 federal arrests to 820 kilograms seized of fentanyl. That's enough to kill 250,000 people. Over 3,000 firearms seized, 350 gang cases, 3,000 cases against violent
Well,
criminals.
that's not my question. We know that you...
Well, you asked if I was weaponizing the FBI, and I am not. I'm giving you the hard, concrete examples of the men and women putting handcuffs on bad people, doing harm to our children and innocent Americans. I do not see weaponization.
You have placed on leave FBI employees responsible for the investigation of January 6th. That sounds political to me.
I have not placed anyone on leave who has not violated their ethical obligation or their oath to the Constitution.
So if they were investigating January 6th, you believe they were violating an ethical obligation?
Nope. I think the common theme here is you putting words in my mouth, and I'm not going to tolerate it, nor will the men and women of the FBI.
Well, you did place on leave an analyst responsible for investigating Russia's meddling in the 2016 election. Is that politicization? Is that retribution?
No, not if she broke the law or the ethical guidelines. I don't know which case you're talking about, but that's the standard. And we will hold ourselves inwardly accountable, and we will not be strayed from our mission because people think we are politicizing the Bureau. If you want to talk about someone who was attacked by a weaponized Bureau, you're looking at him. And now he's the director of the FBI, and he's cleaning it up.
What began as routine congressional oversight quickly fractured into a volatile partisan brawl, facing a relentless inquisition from Senator Patty Murray. FBI Director Kash Patel found his leadership and the Bureau's fiscal opacity under severe attack. Customary diplomatic overtures evaporated within minutes. In their place came Murray's forceful accusation that the FBI's mission to protect Americans is being actively sabotaged from within by right-wing politicization. She grilled Patel on glaring accountability failures, demanding to know why the Bureau had failed to produce its FY25 spending plan and why it remained stonewalled on the FY 2026 budget. Tensions boiled over when the debate turned to budget cuts. Murray painted a grim picture of severed ties with local law enforcement and crippled frontline crime fighting. The two adversaries found exactly one patch of common ground, agreeing to protect the NICS background check system before plunging back into a bitter fight over the weaponization of the justice system. Fiercely defensive, Patel rejected allegations of political purges and backdoor White House coordination. Any personnel benched, he insisted, were sidelined for ethical breaches, not political vendettas. He sought to project the image of a nonpartisan bulwark strictly focused on crime, but his defiance crashed into an impenetrable wall of democratic skepticism.
I am gravely concerned about the utter lack of independence of the FBI and its weaponization under your leadership. I am concerned that the president is using this book, your book, as a blueprint, as he has said. It's a blueprint for revenge. When can I, a former impeachment manager, expect the FBI at my door?
Ma'am, you want to know who was targeted by a weaponized FBI? Me. You want to know how and why?
Well,
you want to know what I'm doing to fix it?
That.
Joining me now is Pennsylvania Congresswoman Madeleine Dean. She is on the Appropriations and Foreign Affairs Committees. Welcome, Congressman. Always good to see you. And look, you have cited concerns detailed in this report. Rank and file are describing a culture of fear and uncertainty. They're wondering if they're going to be ousted over ties either to the previous administration or for having worked on an investigation now seen as unfavorable to Trump. But increasing polygraph tests on employees and agents to go after leaks? What's your reaction?
Well, I'm gravely disappointed that Kash Patel is running the FBI. I'm gravely disappointed that he was Senate confirmed. And that's why I asked some of the questions I did when he was in front of us for the Appropriations Committee. After all, the mission of the FBI is to keep the American people safe and to abide by the Constitution. This man is wholly unqualified to run the FBI, and this recent reporting shows it. I did point out that what seems to have qualified him for this president, for this would-be emperor, is that he wrote the book, Government Gangsters. In it, he has all kinds of names of people that Donald Trump would like to seek revenge on. And he also wrote a children's book. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's called The Plot Against the King. How cute, how pathetic. That to gain favor with this would-be king, Kash Patel writes these books and goes on podcasts and just attracts the far right. Conspiracy theories and all. What this reporting shows is what worries me a lot. And that is, we have really amazing people who work at the FBI, many who have worked for decades. 38,000 folks work at the FBI. They're not there as a political arm. In fact, they are not to be political at all. And what this FBI director is doing is politicizing and also making people afraid of their own work. He's shifting or getting rid of top agents, field directors. He's telling others, take this transfer or you will be demoted. And he's flat out firing others. I've worked with the FBI over the past 6.5 years as a member of Congress, whether on judiciary or foreign affairs or appropriations now. They are some of the most dedicated public servants. They're not political animals.
Yeah.
And this use of polygraphs against them is really concerning.
Patel said that the agency is going to revisit past investigations, including the 2022 leak of a draft Supreme Court opinion on abortion, cocaine that was found 2 years ago at the White House. He said that he's going to soon announce a definitive answer as to whether there were FBI sources present at the January 6th insurrection, despite the DOJ saying there were 3 FBI confidential sources there that day. Why reopen these probes? What do you think he's going to find?
Well, and he's reopening a couple of probes that were not within his jurisdiction at all. The leak of the Dobbs decision, for example, that was investigated by the proper authorities within the Supreme Court. What he's looking at, the cocaine in the White House during the last administration found, I don't know why he's going after these, except we do know that his principle, that Donald Trump is hell-bent on revenge, on smearing other people. I don't understand it, Alex. I really want to tell you that. I do not understand.